pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Close.
So I assume everybody's had a chance to look over the agenda. Could I get a motion to approve the agenda?
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
Okay, all in favor? Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Now we're going to have the oaths of office for Yehuda Feinstein and Olivia White. Who's doing that?
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government thereof, that I will endeavor to support, maintain, and defend the Constitution of said state, not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States. I will be alert and vigilant to enforce the criminal laws of this state, that I will not be influenced in any manner on account of personal bias or prejudice, and that I will faithfully and impartially execute the duties of my office as a law enforcement officer according to the best of my skill, abilities, and judgment. So help me God.
So help me God.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you, everybody here. Thank you. I just want to say a couple things real quick. First of all, I am extremely happy to be here. I'm grateful for allowing me to be part of your community. I think it's an honor and a privilege, and I actually look forward to coming to work every single day. So, with that being said, I also want to give a shout out to my uncle, Tony DeSaris. He recently died. He was a military police officer in the Army, and when I was going through the academy, and then later on field training, and even in the military, he was there as a guide, and I owe a lot to him, and even though he's not here with me right now, I just wanted to make sure that I gave him the credit that he deserves. So thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Yes, so glad.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Olivia White.
Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States, that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of North Carolina and to the constitutional powers and authorities which are or may be established for the government thereof, that I will endeavor to support, maintain, and defend the Constitution of said state, not inconsistent with the Constitution of the United States, that I will be alert and vigilant to enforce the criminal laws of this state, that I will not be influenced in any manner on account of personal bias or prejudice, and that I will faithfully and impartially execute the duties of my office as a law enforcement officer according to the best of my skill, abilities, and judgment. So help me God. All right, congratulations.
you let bring your partner to get handshake. Better bring her back. Yeah. Welcome.
Okay, next on the agenda is the Fire Department 2024 year-end presentation. Alan Johnson.
Good evening, Mayor and Board. Hope y'all are doing well tonight. Got to see if I figure out how it runs fast. All right, I think I got 16 slides here to give you a snapshot. Greg told me I had to hurry. But anyway, so this is kind of the year-end report from 2024. Talk about where we were at, what kind of calls we run, things of that nature, and then a couple things that coming down the line, we hope. So we'll jump right in. So our total calls for the year was 1,614 calls. There's a list of them out by month. We got it broke down in between fire calls and first responder calls. With that being said, looks like 116 was the least number of calls that were run in any month. Next slide's going to kind of be a breakdown over the past year since 2010. I always keep that 2010 year in there because that was our first full year of running first responder calls. So that's 2010, so that's been 15 years ago. We run 555 calls. Again, we're up to 1614. In 2016, I put that in red to say that was the first year that we actually broke 1,000 calls that year. And I can remember standing here before y'all telling you that I didn't know what we were going to do or what the volunteers, how long they were going to hold out if we ever broke that 1,000 calls. And here we are. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 years later, less COVID year, obviously. We quit running some calls that year and cut us back just a little bit. So if you look over in the green, there's 3 months of green or 3 years of green, but we were on a little over 9.5% above what we run last year, with an average of those 3 years a little over 12%. So call volume for us is steadily increasing. The next slide we go to calls by type. I'm not going to read them all out to you, but you can see, and this is going to vary just a little bit of difference from what was in your packet. Some of the slides I had to get some more information and do a little more updating. So, but again, 170 motor vehicle accidents, dispatch canceled en route, public service, right on down 26 structure fires. Just like I say, everything, and then when you get down to the end, it says other. So that's just the vast majority. If you look at the shifts, the A, B, and C shifts, they're fairly close, 536, 520, and 558. So they're all pretty close. But that's an average of 4.4 calls per day. So some days it may be 8 or 10 like yesterday, and then some days it may not be but 1 or 2. We very rarely ever have a day that we don't have a call at all. So our year-end report, I've always put this slide in there just to kind of get a breakdown of where the calls are, when they're happening. So calls run during the daytime Monday through Friday is roughly 36%, on the fire calls, and then 34.7% on the first responder calls. So roughly a third of the calls are Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. The rest of them are nights and weekends. So in town versus out of town, so 57% of the calls for 930 calls were in town. The rest were out of town. That's always pretty interesting too. Mutual aid responses. So mutual aid responses, we had 233 calls that we gave mutual aid to for 14% of the calls, and then 174 times we requested mutual aid for a little over 10% of the calls as well. And if y'all have any questions anytime, please don't hesitate to stop me and ask any questions. So man hours, this is always interesting. 5,179 man hours that was documented on calls. Training, I know you probably heard me say that at the Chris party. But in-house training hours, 6,414. Out of the department, 818, for a total of 7,232 hours of training for the guys this year, or last year, 2024. Average response times, this is something I'm going to get just a little bit deeper in, as now we got the full-time staff and 2 people at the station per day, but again, 1,614 calls. For, if you don't know, we just don't cover Benson. We got 27 square miles. That includes the Johnson County District and the Harnett County District. So average daytime response from dispatch to first unit arriving on the scene is 5 minutes and 25 seconds. Weeknights, 6 minutes and 12 seconds. And then weekends, 6 minutes and 34 seconds. So what that tells me, during the day, we got the full-time, the part-time people, myself, we're as good as anybody. At night, on the nights, the guys are having, we do fine on first responder calls, but on the fire calls, have to wait for a volunteer or 2 to come back to run the call. And then weekends, most people get gone, so that's just a little bit longer. So the average response time from dispatch to the first unit getting there is 6 minutes and 6 seconds. And that's for all the calls, first responder, fire, and everything. So this here breaks it down into the last 3 years, just to kind of give us some comparison. And you can see, I'm not going to read over all those. But that's 21, 22, 23, and 24. For the most part, we were getting better, and then, we kind of leveled out from where we've been at. So if you got any questions on that one, let me know. So I put in January. I know this is last year, but just something to compare. So now we're going to turn the focus, instead of overall, more into the shifts, and then starting in January. We're running just a little bit more tight of data now to see where we're at. So this is just on medical calls. Medical call comes out, don't matter what time the guy's there, it's 24/7, they can up and leave. They don't have to wait for nobody extra. So the times are going to be a little faster. Fire calls, they're going to be a little longer. But this here shows, which shift was fastest, how long we stayed on the scene, and then how long the total call was as well. Like I say, fire calls, broke down into shifts again. Back on the first responder calls, average total call time, staying on the call 18 minutes. But the total from dispatch to clearance 24 minutes on on medical calls, and then on fire calls, the average is 54 minutes staying on the scene. So that just tells you that we're there for wrecks, fire alarm, structure fire, whatever. We're there a lot longer than we are for just the medical calls. So overlapping call data, again, this it just seems to blow my mind, because every 5th call or every 4th call we're having another call while we're on a call. So 20% of the time we got an overlapping, what we call overlapping call, meaning we're on a call and the pager goes off. Happened twice yesterday, if not 3 times, but another happened twice. But for a total since 2016, an average of 15.8% of the time. But we did go down a little bit last year from 20.1% in 23 to 20% even in 24. But for the most part, that's still rising. That just means that we're getting busier and busier. Got too wild there. Mutual aid response data, so 233 times again that we give mutual aid this past year, to 179 the year before. And then to the right column over there shows you the breakdown per department that we went to. There was a total of 3 tanker task force calls, and we could have been anywhere in the county for those. So again, we requested a mutual aid 174 times this past year, 112 times last year. And a lot of this is because we're doing what we call the dual response on the interstate dual response, where we get 2 departments, no matter which way we go on either I-40 or I-95. So we do the same, every department that we mutual aid with, we do the same thing. We call them, and then they call us just as well. So the one thing with the 233 aids given, that's 233 times that we're, not in Benson, we're somewhere else, with the first truck anyway. So that's just something to keep in mind too. So just a snapshot of where we lay out in the whole county. Took the data from the 9 24-hour departments from last year. So you can see, put the number of stations we got, number of full-time personnel, and then the number of calls run. And with that, we're fifth, which is right in the middle. Clayton's got 17 people at the station, 24 hours a day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, sitting there waiting for a call. Now, they do have 2 stations, but again, they got 17 people. We got 2, and they only run just a tad over twice as many calls as we do. So that's just comparing with Clayton. Selma, which, we compare to Selma a lot, they got 4 people, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. That's not counting no part-time people during the day or admin or anything like that. That's just paid shift personnel. This thing's a beating in the band there. All right, I know we got a new commissioner, so just a recap of what we got. So current personnel staffing, we currently have 6 full-time shift engineers. So that means that they work at ABC rotating 24-hour shift. So any given day, we got 2 people on call 24/7. Now, we did have one of them, he had a fever Saturday, so I come back in and worked 8 hours just so we could keep that 2 people minimum. Because now that we're doing that, I just don't want to drop any lower than that. So I put it out and then nobody else comes, so I come back in and cover till somebody else can come back in. Now, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, we got myself. We also staff 2 part-timers, like I say, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And then we have a part-time fire inspector, part-time assistant chief, and then a part-time admin that kind of fill in wherever. But that's just what our staffing looks like. So we try to have 4 people, not counting me, 4 people, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. And I'm gone a lot, so that's why when it come to y'all last year, tried to take me out of the picture for a little while. I have a lot going on too. Okay, personal staffing needs. So I've been putting it into, my PowerPoints and stuff, and you've been seeing it. So we were able to get last year, like I say, the 3 other engineers to give us 2 people per day. So, we're starting on budgets now and looking. I hope we can get, so the plan is to hire 3 captains from within the 6 engineers that we got, and then hire 3 new shift firefighters at that point. I'm looking at that December, January, if we can make the budget numbers work and with y'all approval. So we had to see where that shakes out. 27, 28, maybe hire a full-time, assistant chief, battalion chief, whatever we got. But then 28, 29, we really, with our growth, we're going to have to be looking at staffing a second truck, from our station. So I put in there 3 shift engineers and 3 shift captains, giving additional 2 people for that particular truck. So replacement rescue 1, and I've been talking about this now for about 3 years. So we're all getting a little closer. We've had several meetings. So we're going to look at replacing our 1991 E1, which is 34 years old. We're now, in dire need to replace this apparatus. We've now, the officers sat down, evaluated. We were looking at either a ladder truck, looking at our needs, or a rescue truck. So right now, the rescue truck's what we all felt best with. So we've had some meetings with some vendors. They're in the process of getting prices. It's not going to be cheap. There's a 3-year build time for this truck. So, if we ordered it today, it's still going to be 3 years before we get it, any way you look at it, for a cost of around $1.4 million. That's a lot of money. Our last new truck that we bought was in 2018, and it was $469,000. So this is 3 times that much. So I want to prepare y'all for that. So, but again, we're going to be looking at the budgets coming up, and seeing what we can do, and maybe that'll give us 3 years to prepare and pay some down, whatever we need to do. But there'll be more to come on that later. And that's my 16 slides.
Well, Chief, I have to say this about you.
Yes, ma'am.
You always give a detailed report.
Well, thank you.
It's wonderful. I just cannot believe how much time you put into it.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
Any other questions? Any other comments?
I do. If you let me jump a little bit.
Okay.
I want to jump down to reports.
Okay.
I don't want you to stand up twice.
Okay.
So, I was reading your report, and I just want a little bit more elaboration on it. It said in the report that you did that in January you're transitioning from a medical responder to an EMT department.
Yes, sir.
Does that mean all your volunteers are going through EMT, or is that?
No, so what we done, I wasn't comfortable going yet. Now we got right at 30 total people that's got their first responder, either medical responder, paramedic, or EMT. So we had to assure the county that we could provide one EMT on every call. So until the paid staff were all EMT level, I wasn't comfortable in going to that step yet. So I know Andrew, he's here, but he got his, another engineer, Austin Pope, he got his back last year. So once they got theirs, so now all 6 of our full-time engineers has got their EMT. So then we felt comfortable making that step. So the ones that are medical responder level, there's 7 or 8 of them. You know, we're not going to make them go back and get EMT, but like I say, there's about 15 other ones that does have it other than the paid people.
What's the difference in the level of care that you can provide in Johnson County between the two?
So in Johnson County, you can give a few drugs, and I'd be lying if I told you exactly what they were right now. These guys behind me, I'm sure they could tell you that. But you can give a few more drugs. Level of care is just a little bit higher than an actual medical responder. Is that close? Okay. Yeah. No, not at all.
We're also blessed to have some like Paul Boucher. Paul Boucher's a paramedic.
Paramedic with the county.
He'll run these calls when he is volunteering for us. There's a couple more that's got that. I'm not going back to school to get that. How many hours is it if I picked it up?
So with that being said, we're looking at running the class at the fire station starting in May, and it's about 220 hours. If you want to, I mean, right now you're just Delta calls, but if you want to go get it all, about 220 hours.
I'm satisfied.
I think you can do it,
right
Will.
there.
I think he could.
I'm just curious, because I know what drug passing push is at EMT in Wake County. I know it's different in Johnson, or I'm assuming it is. I was just wondering what you could do.
I'd say it's pretty close, but I don't know what Wake County can do. But I mean, because it's states, you know what I'm saying? It's state certified, so I'd say it's close, but I don't know if it's exactly correct. Yes, sir. That sounds good.
And I
Yes, sir.
also need the board members that are sitting up here, I'm aware of it. We have gone from 2018 to our last truck of $500,000, and now we're looking at 1.4 million for our next truck. And it's not any better than what we have got sitting up there. I mean, it's no special truck, it's no ladder truck, it's nothing. It's what we need. It's a pumper just like what we've got. But you've got to understand, like he said, we've met with the people, everybody, City of Cary, Raleigh, they're on the same schedule we are. They order a truck, don't care if it's a pumper or a ladder truck, they're looking at 3 to 4 years from the time they order it
That's
until
crazy.
they get it. So we're not looking at, oh, we've got to come up with $1.4 billion this year or next year to buy it, because if we order it, we don't have to pay for it until we
we get
receive it. So it's time for us to look at these things and start putting the money to the side or looking at different ways of paying for it.
Yep.
Because it's a great need. That piece of junk that we've got right now, that 19 or it's
91.
35 years old,
Yeah.
drives like a tank, and it's not equipped to do what we really need to do with it out on the interstates, 40 or 95.
It's big.
Yeah,
It's big.
it is.
I mean, which it's served a purpose now for 10 years, 12, ever how long we had it, but yeah. Commissioner Danny Mack, have you I know you're still taking things in, but if you got any questions, you got my number sometime. You can call me too now if you ever got any questions, so. And that goes for all of you, anytime. Anybody else got anything?
Well, I assume you're running the numbers with the people you want to hire, promote, and the pay differences, all that good stuff.
Yes, sir.
Ellen,
Working.
how many volunteers do we have? I don't even recall, it might have been in the report, may have gone over my head, but how many volunteers do we currently have?
So currently, straight volunteers, what we consider straight volunteers, we can have 35, and we got 24. So we got 11 openings right now. We got 4 or 5 people coming, but it just takes a little process. You can see in my report to get them on. We had a couple that didn't make it last year, but they're coming back, gonna try it again. So we can have up to 35 is the way everything reads, but we got 24 currently. And then the part-time and then the paid. So we got a total of about 43 people right now. But yes.
Are you anticipating and asking raising the fire tax?
No. No, not right now. Of course, we ain't run all the numbers, but I mean, I think with the reevaluations and all that, no, I don't think so. We're looking at growth, the commercial and the residential, and so I'm just trying to come up with a truck payment and 3 people right this minute. So.
And you may mention that's part of the matrix that you've been working on for the last couple of years,
Yeah.
and we have finally got it.
Yeah.
Wake County has been doing it for a long time.
Over 20 years, yeah.
We're just kind of stepping into it, and that will also help in hiring and hopefully some of the monies for equipment.
Yeah. At some time, not in the real near future, but probably by summertime, we probably need to come back and sit down and look at some of the matrix stuff and the cost sharing stuff that we've gone over, because we're going to be looking at going to budget next year with the county, and it's going to be a cost share. But I'm working on getting all that stuff together, and like I say, bring back to you so y'all can get a grasp on that too. That'll be a good work session topic.
But that is part of the fire tax, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's based off that, so it's more equal. Like
Throughout the county.
Cleveland has just, they've got commercial buildings and commercial taxes, and we don't, and Bentonville doesn't. Bentonville, this put two full-time, one full-time fireman.
So as of now, thanks to the matrix, every department, all 23 departments in Johnson County has some sort of paid staff during the day. They're not all 24. That's a goal. And also, just so you know, a 4-man engine company is also the goal of the committee, but that may be 10 years from now. But that's all in the plan that we're working on to get out to everybody.
But that's part of the tax you were talking about.
That's right.
That is our fire tax now, so it's more equal across the board.
Right.
So we won't have to look at, well, we're going to have to take a 5 cent on the 100 tax increase. We don't have to do that because of.
Which now, that's true, true, but the town part does not. Towns aren't included anything in the matrix. Right. It's just all the county. So just do keep that in mind. So the town part, we still have to continue doing what we're doing. But yeah, again, so on that, like I said, all 23 departments does have some sort of paid staff at every department in the county during the week, and then they're all 23 is now first responder level also. There was 3 departments that won't, but they are all first responder level now. So there's some good things come out of that, some great things come out of that, until we just hope it to continue getting better and better. So, all right, we good? Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. Next, the police, Captain Rick Percy.
As Greg's coming up, I just want to remind everybody that we are back on YouTube. And I'm already getting text messages that they can't hear y'all. So if you can talk into your mics, pull them forward, I'd appreciate it. And pass yours down, Ike, to him so he can have one. You can have mine if you need to talk. Just take it. Thank you. Talk into the mic, Greg.
Can you hear me now? Good evening, Mayor and Board. Like Alan said, we've been working on generating the statistics from the 2024 calendar year. It takes a little bit of time to pull all this stuff together because we have to go through Johnston County 911 to get some of our stats and some of the stuff we do in-house. But I prepared a brief PowerPoint for y'all, and you have the actual paper copy included in your board packet. So to start with, the police department staff participated in or assisted with 48 special events in 2024. That includes parades, meal days, our summer sports program, anything that we do that's outside the scope of normal policing activities, we count as a special event. And as y'all know, we had a discussion last year about changing the pay scale for that. So we're not giving comp time for the officers anymore now. It's for pay, which has improved the attendance to stuff like that a great deal. In 2024, we hired 3 experienced officers, 2 BLET graduates, and 2 police trainees, who both of them graduated from school, luckily. We received a $10,000 grant from the North Carolina Governor's Crime Commission for traffic safety and traffic enforcement overtime costs. We've been very judicious in applying that because we're trying to make that money last all year, but we have sent them out to target special areas for speeding complaints mostly. And then we sold 5 vehicles through Enterprise and leased 3 Dodge Durangos from them as well. So we got rid of 5 and gained 3. Recruiting and retention was a big focus for us, as y'all know. We had 7 officers that left to work for other agencies: the Sheriff's Department, Clayton PD, 4 Oaks PD, and the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs. In response, we hired 3 certified and experienced officers using our sign-on bonus program. 1 was from the Fayetteville Police Department, 1 was from Stein that y'all met tonight. And then we hired 1 from 4 Oaks Police Department. We had 2 BLET graduates that were hired, the 2 police trainees that were hired and sent to BLET, and like I said, both of those graduated. One of those was Olivia White, which you also met tonight. The salaries were increased in response to the hyper-competitive law enforcement market in Johnston County and the surrounding areas. And y'all also added 2 supervisory positions to our department to increase supervision and accountability for the officers. As we currently stand with the staff we have on hand, our demographics is 53% white male, 13.5% black male, 13.5% Hispanic male, 13.5% white female, and for the first time, 6% Asian female. Some of the accomplishments that we had for 2024 was, again, we received a $10,000 grant from the Governor's Crime Commission. We also applied for another corporate grant for equipment, but unfortunately, we're not selected for that one. Our Citizens Police Academy was, our inaugural Citizens Police Academy was held last January and February. We had 7 people sign up for it, and 5 people attended all of the classes and successfully completed the course. We had officers that participated in Read Across America at the elementary school and also the middle school, and the summer reading program. I believe one more officer actually participated with Derek at the library. We held welcome back events at both the elementary school and the middle school in August to welcome the kids back to school. Our National Night Out event featured an appearance from the SBI K-9 team. I don't know if y'all got a chance to attend or not, but we had a large number of bouncy houses and vendors, and I believe we ended up giving away about 300 barbecue sandwiches for the people that were there. So we had really good attendance for that. Our Cops for Kids toy drive provided a donation of approximately $3,000 worth of toys and games to both Bama and Miss Cleo's 4-Leaf Clover program. I was there on the Saturday that she distributed those toys, and the line, it was crazy. It stretched down from her house all the way back down West Harnett Street. There was a lot of people, and she actually ran out of stuff before she could get through everybody in line. So we'll work in 2025 to get more money for her so she can hopefully meet all her demands. And then Officer Dwight Whitaker was selected by a peer vote as Officer of the Year for 23. And Lieutenant Whitman, Lieutenant Lasada, and former Officer Megan Potter received awards from the Johnson County Crisis Intervention Team for excellence in their field. Some of the statistics from 2024, our total law enforcement responses were 6,621, which was a slight decrease from the year prior. Our incident reports were 1,441, arrest reports were 164, citations were 1,343. Total uses of force were 3. Total uses of force that were consistent with our policy were also 3, which led to 1.8% of our arrests involved some kind of use of force. We had 7 complaints that were filed either internally or externally. 3 of those complaints were sustained. And then our officers completed 792 hours of state-mandated training and then 2,667 hours of voluntary training on their part. And as we move into 2025, some of our goals for the upcoming year, probably one of the biggest ones will be the introduction of body cameras for the officers. We've met with 2 vendors already, discussing pricing and equipment needs and stuff like that. And we're continuing those conversations now to try to get a dollar figure so we can apply for federal grants to offset the cost of them. Also in 2025, we're looking into the implementation of vehicle partitions. Y'all may not be aware, but right now, when we transport a prisoner, we do so in the front seat of the car beside the officer. Always have, but the guys have asked that we take that step to maybe increase their safety somewhat. We can't ride them in the back without another officer back there with them, so now you're tying up two officers. So if we get a partition separating the front seat and the back seat, they can continue to solo transport. So we're looking at pricing and stuff for that, and we'll just add that to the upfit cost for the vehicles. Also in 2025, we're working on researching and planning, hopefully, the construction of a firearms range for the police department. Some of y'all probably remember the day when we had a range at the wastewater treatment plant. It's been many years ago now, but there's a parcel of land adjacent to the wastewater plant that is heavily wooded and vacant right now that we think would be suitable. So we're looking at the hows and whys of how we make that happen. And the reason for that is in 2026, the requirements from the state for our firearms training are going to markedly increase, up to the point where they're going to introduce electronic turning targets and additional shooting and stuff, where it's going to take a great deal of practice on the officers' parts to make that happen. And right now we have limited access to the range that we use. So we're looking into that possibility, and we'll bring that back at some point later this year.
Greg, the range you use now,
Yes, sir.
50 highway?
Yes, sir. It's Kevin Barber's. Yeah. And then in 2025, we're launching a program that we call Community Conversations. It's modeled after the Crime Watch meetings that we used to have. My goal for it, though, is to steer it away from strictly a crime-related conversation. That will be a part of it, but I also want to talk to the citizens and stuff about issues that they're facing that may not be necessarily strictly related to policing. If they've got high grass, nearby, or they've got cars that are parking the wrong way, or if they want to get their child enrolled in a Parks and Rec program, we'll have that information available to them. And what we're going to do is we're going to go to different neighborhoods around town. Our first meeting is actually tomorrow, and it's going to be at the Benson Housing Authority office, and it will be for the Housing Authority residents, the trailer park residents, and people, like on Man Street, South Dunn, just in that area of town. Later on in the year, we'll go to the north side of town, probably the west side of town, and in October, we're going to have one strictly related to business owners. To see what kind of assistance that we can give them as far as the issues and stuff that they see, and how we can help with that. And like I said, that's tomorrow. It's at 2:00 at the Housing Authority office. If any of y'all would like to attend, you're welcome to, because it's open to the public. Right now, we have 2 officers in field training. We have 2 more that are coming on, I believe it's next week. So we'll have 4 people in training at one time. As we sit right now, we have 3 vacancies. We have 1 person in the works for that. But hopefully by April, May, if all goes well, we'll be back fully staffed. I'm actually sending Lieutenant Lasada to Johnson Community College next week to speak to their ability class. And then we're going to hit Sampson Community College. We'll hit Central Carolina, probably Wayne Community College, and try to talk to some of the people that are going to those programs and see if we can, maybe get some of them to come this way. Like I said, recruiting is difficult, but we're working hard at it, and I do appreciate everything that y'all have done to assist us as we try to get back to our fully staffed capability.
So do you all ever attend any of the career fairs at the community colleges?
Yeah, Kim, what's that thing called? JOCO Works? Yeah, we go to JOCO Works every year. This past October, I believe it was, we actually attended a job fair in Raleigh, and had our booth set up there. We got a couple people that were interested in it, but unfortunately it didn't work out. That one was really more of a block checker for people on unemployment, to be honest. But we do go out and advertise and try to recruit people, just not at the colleges themselves. Any other questions?
Okay, that's good. Thank
All
you so
right.
much.
Thank y'all.
And last but not least, update on projects. Jay.
Left or right, Tyler? Right, okay. Good evening. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's doing okay. Usually in every meeting you get, the questions asked of you, what you have any questions on any of the projects we got going on right now. And usually I send Kim and Kayla the list of what I'm working on about every other week to kind of keep them in the loop of what I'm trying to get accomplished. And so she suggested I bring this to you this week and show you exactly what I've been working on. So without further ado, if this works, the main thing right now we're working on, the big one, is the wastewater treatment plant. We got the Wooten company is currently working on the design for it right now. It's a KBR, MBR Kubota system. We're hoping to bid the project around June or July. We just received our 30% drawings. We have a meeting next week, next Wednesday, with the Wooten company and with Kubota, myself and Junior, the wastewater treatment plant superintendent, to go over the design, the layouts, and make sure everything's progressing the way we think it should be going. And right now, the estimated cost right now for this first phase of this is $17 million. Now, this does not complete the plant, obviously. We need more money to complete the plant, a lot more money. As Alan had indicated, he has, $500,000 for a truck in 2018. Material prices have leveled off, but they have gone up tremendously, at least 3 or 4 times from 2018. So that's what we're dealing with right now. Yeah, we asked for more money, but you going to say anything?
No, keep going.
You're grabbing your mic and looking.
I know. I was going to give them an update on what we've gotten in the cost. She said, wait, so I'm waiting.
Okay, okay.
Until you move to the next slide, then chill.
There you go.
Okay. So currently, we are using the $22 million state appropriated funds. At this time, we have submitted reimbursement for $1.3 million, and we have gotten all that back from the state. The 15th of every month is when I pull the invoices and I submit to the state. They're very quick in getting back to us. So I know that's on everybody's mind. So we currently have $20 million left in the $22 million that we got from the first appropriations. So
What was the total that we ended up with when we first started this?
$22,700,000. was the total.
I know there was a lot of figures thrown around and.
Yeah.
and
That was the first, and we've already sent our funding letter to Sorry and Larry Strickland, and so that funding letter was basically to finish the plant. That's our main focus right now, is to finish the plant. So,
How much was that?
Hold on, and I'll tell you.
45?
Yeah, I think 45 million is what we did it for.
Additional?
That
Yeah.
will finish the plant, but I don't think that covers the discharge. Where's the additional funding for the additional discharge?
So let me go there. So, as you all know, we're studying the Hannah Creek, the location upstream, I always get that wrong, upstream of where our current location is, because Hannah Creek is on the 505 or 503D. It's on a list of impaired. So the county is paying for that study to be done. And so currently, the county has reimbursed us for $202,884. So that again is on my list on the 15th of every month. So we pull invoices, I send them, send the reimbursements monthly, and they send it back. And they have paid, as of this week, all of that's been paid back to us as well. And I'm just keeping a sum of what that is. There's really, it was kind of an open-ended, but they need it just as bad as we do, because they're obviously going to benefit from the plant. So, so that's part of it as well. So we don't know where we're going to discharge yet. That doesn't include the discharge.
And it's, maybe help me with this if I've got it wrong now, but the nitrogen credits are for the noose, right? And how about Hannah Creek? Do we have to get new ones for the Hannah Creek?
So the Hannah Creek goes into the noose, so we're covered there. It's Cape Fear, and we're not really sure where the Cape Fear is going to go yet, if they're going to do. But our nitrogen credits, correct me if I'm wrong, our nitrogen credits do not count for the Cape Fear. They're only for the noose. So if they go that route, we'll have to buy nitrogen credits for the Cape Fear.
So the Mingo project is Cape Fear, but we can't use any nitrogen there?
So the Mingo project we have a Mingo interceptor project that's completely separate. But if we discharge into Mingo for the expansion, and if they require us to have nitrogen credits, we don't know yet, because they're still studying Cape Fear and we don't know what they're going to do. If they require us to, our nitrogen credits for the noose are not the same as your nitrogen credits for the Cape. So you would have to purchase nitrogen credits for the Cape. But we don't know that it's going to go that direction yet. It's very much a question mark in the air.
There's still a big question mark whether or not they're even going to allow us to do anything with Mingo.
Whether they're going to allow anybody to go into the Cape Fear, because right now it's at a standstill.
I presented a question to the state EPA, trying to get some answers for us, because ultimately our desire is to get back into the Cape Fear, because we get our water out of the Cape Fear River Basin. And by doing so, we'll eliminate the interbasin transfer that would be imposed upon us. And I can't get anybody from the state to get back to me. They've been doing the nutrient study on the Cape Fear River for the last 3 or 4 years, and they can still give me an answer when they're going to be complete with it.
Jay, if we even came up and had to disperse everything back into the Neuse River,
Mm-hmm.
and we have to go 9 miles out of our way and all of that's approved, say we get a big industry that is producing more water and more sewer, are we even going to be able to handle it even with the Neuse? If we had everything in place and they're going to allow us to go 9 miles down and drop it back into the Neuse without the Cape Fear, can we really grow industrial-wise right now?
Right now, the plant is scheduled to be upgraded to 3.75 million gallons. We keep our original discharge for the 1.9, go the 9 miles down, further down Hannah Creek, as you were saying, and discharge the remainder, making up to 3.75. Now, if you ask me if we go to 5, we can still discharge 9 miles down further down in Hannah Creek, I can't tell you that, because I don't know.
Okay. Well, I'm really wanting to make sure we're doing the right things, big enough to start off with.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just still concerned about, say, a manufacturing plant went in off Morgan Road instead of a distribution,
Mm-hmm.
and that was changed. Could we handle it? If everything fell into place,
Mm-hmm.
could we handle it through the news?
Right now, yes, we could. Once we complete it up to 3.75, then we could handle it. I
Yeah,
mean,
if-
we're running right now, the plant's running between 1 and 1.1, between 900,000 to 1.1 right now.
Okay, we got 23 million, and we just spending 17 million of it, which leaves 6 million left.
Mm-hmm.
And we need another 45 million over and above to finish everything we're doing.
Yes.
Plus the cost of getting the 9 miles to the Hannah Creek if they approve that.
Usually, it will run
If-
$1
if
million
they would
a
approve
mile.
that, though,
But that's not,
that would
that's
be
not in the-
county,
You gotta
wouldn't
get
it?
either or. You gotta.
Right, they have to give us something. We
Yeah.
just don't know which they're going to allow us to discharge into yet, and that's the standstill. But in terms of the industrial coming in, we have meetings with any of these companies before they come in to say whether we can currently handle it or not. And that's not based on if and when we hopefully get a discharge. We're having these honest conversations with them anytime we meet and say, in this time frame, this is what we can handle and this is what we can't. Because Jay and Junior, they know the plant flow and what we can currently take on a daily basis. So there's not a concern that we're going to approve an industry to come in and not be able to handle their eventual flow, because I just will say that's something we are very upfront about with them before they decide to come in and sign a lease at any building like the one on Morgan Road.
Yeah, well, I was just wondering, say the Lions came in and had this terrific thing to come in right now.
Yeah.
And I know that would be 12 months down the road. Are we doing everything we can? Are we putting in a 20-inch line instead of a 12-inch line? So, or a 24?
Yeah, so.
Anything we're doing, or we're upping the capacity enough to handle it so we won't have to come back and re-spend the money?
Yes, and additionally, in conversations with any of these industries coming in and any buildings or places they're wanting to look at, we're having conversations with the folks who own these buildings and saying, if you want this type of industry to come in, these are the upgrades we need to see on your side. The town side will upgrade. It's either what we need or they will have to pay those system development upgrades. But even on the personal property side, we're going ahead and telling them, based on this capacity that you're looking at, these are the upgrades we're going to have to see for us to be even able to look at playing ball from the jump.
It's just like our water, our new water tank, our storage. Is that going to be large enough, or when we get it built, are we going to be short 1 million gallons?
No, currently with what we can get from Dunn & Johnston is the size of the tank we are proposing to get, it will cover us. And I know, Jay, you have more.
And that's gonna
Right.
be also on here.
I'm going to defer to Jay when it comes to the actual amount of gallons, because that's their expertise. But yes, everything we're looking at and everything we're moving forward with in these projects, I can assure you all of us have sat around and shot holes in it from every direction to make sure that we're planning for the future and not just the next even 5 years. We're looking much further out than that.
Yeah, well, I know we're really trying to plan for the future, but I don't think anybody else is that's around us. You leave here, go down 27 Highway, go toward Harnett County. You've got 3-4 new subdivisions going up. You got 500-600 more houses. Now, I know that's not in our city limits, but we're going to have to provide services to all these houses, all these subdivisions, and I just want to know who else is looking at that besides us.
I don't have that answer.
I don't have, I mean, we look at it,
We look at it all the time because that's part of Ray's
Well,
job.
yeah,
I mean,
but
is
and I
keeping
know
up. But
you do,
other people, I don't know.
I'm asking the questions right now as far as what we're doing. We're going in the right direction, but are the right directions from a 24 to a 36 right now, because we could get it it costs a little more right now, but in the future, it's.
And yes, and
needed.
Jay and a lot of the guys can attest to this. I am wholeheartedly, if we have the funding right now and it's going to be something we don't have to touch again in 10 years, we're making the upgrade now.
Based on what they told us though in our last update last year, it was just a base that the whole Hannah Creek thing is just based. We're doing this based on timing because nobody knows when they're going to reopen the Cape Fear. That's obviously
Correct.
the first
Right.
choice. But we need to get the funding now and get this funding spent. And so if the Cape Fear doesn't open up by the time we can spend this funding, then we've got to go to 9 miles to Hannah Creek.
Yes, and I sent you guys all the funding letter, and in the funding letter, we asked for $15 million. That is what we're estimating the most it would be, whether that's Hannah Creek or Cape Fear. Okay. So we went for the highest amount. Obviously, if we can get into Cape, it's cheaper, and, you know, we won't have, maybe we can divert the funds to something else. With water and sewer, that's typically how the state appropriations work. But we have asked for the full-fledged on that caveat of if we have to go Hannah Creek, we still can because we have the money.
But just to be on the record, today we're using somewhere between 0.9 and 1.1 million of 1.9 for the entire town, including Chicopee, which is our biggest user in water and sewer right now. So if we had another facility that size come in, granted we don't have a catastrophic hurricane event, which then we have the sewer capacity for that industry to come in today.
No.
All,
No.
no. All of the inquiries we've had, no. Most of the inquiries we've had, yes. And the ones that were a no, we've told them we can't do that right now. Based on what we've seen in the meetings we had, more of them are at the lower end. Right. More of them are at the lower end that we currently could do. There has been at least one or two that we had just had to say, I'm sorry, we can't hit it right now.
Also, one of them was like 4 million gallons per day. But it's like she said, we'll get letters from economic development. It'll have a name on it. I immediately send that out to our utilities and say, all right, what can we, and it doesn't matter. It can be the same question with every different project, but we have folders set up, and I want to say yes or no for each project that comes in. And if it's something we can take, then that's when we sit down and have a conversation with them, and we talk about timeline. Because, and that's one thing everybody has to understand too. Crosspoint Logistics, which is on Morgan Road, came into us initially as distribution. That is what it's permitted for. That is how it was set up. All distribution. All the inquiries we're getting are manufacturing. And so when she says we've had conversations about private land, we have told Crosspoint Logistics, this is what you've got to do on your side if you're going to take these clients. If this is what you're going to market it as is manufacturing, these are the things that we have to do as a collective team. This is how long it's going to take. This is how much upfit. I mean, they're going to have to go back to the state and re-permit. That alone, I mean, you're looking at 90 days, at least 90 days. So we're given
9 or 90?
90.
90.
Yeah.
I bet it's lower than that.
And it probably, I'm saying at least, that's probably being very generous. Yeah. So we're having these conversations with them, and like.
Why wouldn't they go ahead and do that? Whatever goes in there, why wouldn't they go ahead and permit it so whatever comes in, they won't have to wait?
If you look at the way that building was built, it was very much set up for distribution.
Yeah.
It's got 100 bay doors, right? That was their intent. I can't answer why they did it the way they did it, but I mean, if we can get a manufacturing facility, I mean, that'd be great. But they're gonna have to do some work. Your time's up. My time is up. All right.
The other thing too, one more thing too, is that one of the things that I've seen through the mayor meetings and stuff is that the other towns in Johnston County are very, very. They're maybe we're in better shape than they are in the water sewer time thing and that kind of thing, and they're very interested in that regionalization thing. So the main thing with us, I believe, was we have to be able to do it. If we are alone in it, also we have to be connectable if it turns into a regional thing and how that would work. So we have to be thinking about that too, is to make sure that we can connect, and I've been assured that we can.
Just to clarify the numbers, I think you said you sent it. 44 million is what we asked for, plus an additional 15. So we asked for a total of about 60.
Well, we also asked for stormwater too. I just literally clicked it down. Is this working? It's working again.
It's
So,
about 4.5 million, isn't it?
yeah, I think, so
65
So
million.
25, we did 25 million for the addition to the plant, 15 million for the line, either Mingo or Hannah Creek, and then 4.7 million for stormwater rehabilitation to the central district downtown.
So 65 million?
No, that was 15 and 20 is 45 plus another 5 is 50.
5, yes.
50 million. 50 million.
Sorry for hijacking your presentation, Jay.
No, no.
Way to get the conversation
Got all night.
going.
We done? Okay. The next one on the agenda is we're doing the headworks out at the wastewater treatment plant. For what you guys don't know, this is the very first object, the machine that receives all the material coming in from the towns, from Four Oaks and from Benson itself. And basically, it's a big screen process. It takes out all the solids. People throw rags and what have you inside the sewer lines and it gets into the plant, and this is a system that automatically removes it and scrubs it out. We can bypass it. We can send it out to lagoons. It's a very unique system. We're almost getting to the end of completion. We're expected for it to be done in operation in June of this year.
Okay, is this the thing that RVs and people that are running their semi-trucks?
That's the next one. That's the next slide.
That's not this?
No, sir.
That's the incoming. That's from the town and the county.
This is everything that comes into the plant. It is pretty much the,
He's talking about the septic
right.
Yeah.
This is this is the strainer that stops everything.
It collects what people,
Once you flush down your toilet, it strains it out.
You'd be astounded at the things people flush down their toilet. I don't know how they do it, but the things that they have to pull out of that headworks, I would just, since we're back on YouTube, I would like to say flushable wipes are not flushable. I'll just start there. But that is the sieve that takes the solids out before the water can be processed.
I thought this was tied into
That's the next slide.
the next slide.
It's the next slide.
It is tight, it will be tight, but you gotta get this part done first.
Okay, so without further ado, let's go to the next slide. This is the septic receiving station.
Go to the next slide.
Oh, I gotta do that too, don't I? There we go. There it is. And that's actually a photo of a similar system we're going to be installing. This is $1 million. This is a STAG grant, fully funded through the federal government. If we ever get the EPA off their bus to give us the okay to start bidding it, it's ready to be bid. We're just waiting on the federal government to give us the okay.
What's the construction timeline on this once we get that go ahead?
Once we get this going, I would say 8 months. It's not a big system. Most of it's components. As you see, they build these all the time. Septic haulers will come in, swipe a card, unload their truck. The computer calculates what they've unloaded, sends it off, and they get a bill sent to them. And they drive away. Then this system
So
here.
we actually charge for this.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yes, we're going to make money on this.
Yeah. This was the study that we did to show that we'll make money off of it.
I think the study says the town will receive approximately, after update costs each year, we'll receive about $230,000 a year off this.
That can go toward the sludge removal that we're paying for every year.
But what gets emptied into the septic station goes back into the headworks. Then it goes out into the plant.
Who gets it now? What are they doing?
We don't do it.
We do
So-
not.
We do not do septic.
Put it off that year that we got
Yeah.
the
2018.
fines whenever the rain came and we hadn't done the removal, we cut all of that off.
But we did used to do that.
We
Yes.
did used to do
Yeah.
that.
And it went right into the lagoon, which
Yeah.
was part of the problem.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Next on the agenda is the Mingo Interceptor project. This is, we're replacing 2 pump stations and turning a bunch of force mains into gravity sewer lines coming out of the southeast part of town and down Chicopee over into a new pump station on Louis Woods property and pumping it up to South Walton. pump station, where then it goes out to the plant. We're right now working on easements. We just, like told me tonight, we got the main one I've been wanting to get for a while, but we have a few more we have to get. We do have the easements along Chicopee Road in hand, so that's been taken care of. So we got a few minor detail drawings to finish, well, 1 or 2 permits, and the rest of the easements over on, I can't think of the neighborhood right now off the top of my head.
King Circle.
King Circle.
King,
Yeah, we're pulling out King Circle. And
Okay, so this goes over to Mr. Wood's property. Anything crosses under 95?
yes,
That's the line that they have been working on.
not that I'm aware of, no. This is a whole new line.
A whole new line.
Yes, sir.
You
We got a
talking
hold
about the
harmless
line
letter.
Right there, back this way, going back to 40
Yeah.
they're working on?
No,
That is
going
the
back
case.
toward Chicopee,
Oh, I don't
right
know
there
about
at the
that.
curb.
Is that the one underneath the railroad?
No, it's underneath 95, I thought.
They replaced the water line through there, I think. I don't know. I thought you were talking about the cases
This will go
going under
underneath
95.
95, and then there'll be a pump station on Mr. Luby's property. On that
Yeah,
corner.
and I know where his property is, and
That actually is a map of the routing on
Yeah.
there. I know it's pretty small, I couldn't make it any bigger, but that is an actual routing of the lines coming into Libby Woods property.
that's just something else that I worry about. Here's 95, all the construction on it, and this comes up 2 years from now. They're not gonna want us.
No, 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 no.
We've already met with them.
It's already,
Okay.
it's within their project, we're good.
Okay, it's in their project.
Well, it's like where it needs to be.
They know it's coming, so they have planned accordingly in their project because they know that ours is coming and we know where to cross
We're
over.
ahead of the game.
Yeah, we've been working with the state for a while on this.
All right.
One thing we're sure is government
Right.
approval and money.
Right.
Well, I just, like paving a road and you gotta dig it up to put something under it.
Okay, the next one is the Driving Branch Stream. This is a brick grant. This is actually the first project I worked on when I came to the town in '22. We worked on it and we submitted to the federal government for funding in January of 2023, and Kim and I literally heard back from them 2 months ago.
Yeah.
Well, the idea of the project is to remove the culverts underneath the parking lot at Public Works and crossing the main road going in there and on Johnson Street, and increasing the size of those lines, daylighting the rest of it into an open stream bed.
Tear down the old Public Works facility.
Tear down the facility. And we've received information from the state. Kim has signed the documents, the state has, and now we're just waiting for the initial funding round, which is just the design part of this right now. And there's no dollar amount on there. I realized that when I first sat down this evening. This whole total project itself is going to be $2.8 million, hopefully. Right now, we have Wooten Companies doing a stormwater design. We already have 98% drawings on the Man Street and Riddick Street area. And the downtown drawings should be in our hands this week. 90% on those as well. To give us a chance to get a good review. And we've received a cost estimate on the Man Street and Riddick Street area, which I think totaled for construction-wise about $780,000 to do that work over there. Then I asked for when they turn in these drawings to give me an estimate on how much it would cost to do the downtown district, so we can start looking intently for funding for this. I know we've kind of been going back and forth on it, but I'd like to get that funded sooner than later.
And this one is a grant. And again, it was a $400,000 grant. We've paid $161,000 and we've been reimbursed fully for that. It's another one that's on my list, but that's kind of where we are. So we still have $238,980 to draw down off of it.
Well, that's-
Sure we'll get an invoice pretty soon once it's done.
And we'll have everything, they'll have the easement maps and everything ready for us by June of this year for this as well. And we'll have a bid-ready projects we're pushing for. So if somebody comes up and say, hey, I got $5 million, you need it? Yeah, I do need it. I got something right now. The next one is the L building remodel, or what we're calling the Benson Community Development Center. I got all my contracts in, all my bids in. I've got all the contracts out. I'm having a pre-construction meeting this Thursday in Town Hall with all the contractors involved in this project. We'll be starting construction next Monday. The permits are in place. Everybody, all the paperwork is complete.
So all the bids have been
Yes.
completed?
Yes, sir. I'm under budget some. I got to install an exterior building and a concrete pad for the Parks and Rec to park their lawnmowers in and run power to it. I didn't include that when I originally bid this project, and I got some extra money. I'll be able to put a parking lot into this as well. We don't have parking right now. I mean, we got the little small space right there at the park, but that's it. And
This one we received all the money for up front. This was a state appropriated through the state budget. It's OSM grant. We have spent $59,000, so that leaves us. I think I added this in there. Hold on.
1.8.
yeah, you got about
Yep,
1.8
we have,
left.
Yep.
So.
Math.
The next one is the Phase 3 and 4 water lines. This is a STAG grant, another STAG grant I applied for in spring of 2023. $959,752. This would replace the water line on South Elm Street. That map is, I can't see it. I don't know why. I mean, down to, I'm not sure what street that is. Then the water line down Parrish Avenue, and if we do have some extra money, we'll do the water line down Southwest Railroad Street. Ray Adams says that these are the water lines that desperately need to be replaced.
How hard would it be to put some stormwater line down Parish Drive? While we're there. Because we don't have any stormwater on the south end, on the north end of Parish Drive. That's why that big dip's in front of my yard, because there's no stormwater there.
I can have that conversation.
Close to your house, we can't do that.
I'm just trying not to pick up hubcaps.
We'll add it to salt so we can come in.
I just wonder why it's there. If we've got some extra, if we can find the funding, can we go ahead and finish out that stormwater line?
Well, I'd like to take Parrish Drive and grind that thing down level and Parrish and repave that thing so it doesn't have a big hump in the center of the street. But yeah, I'll get with Ray and Jeremy and find out, see what they say, what we'll be able to do on that.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, absolutely. The next one is, we got the $16 million from the state, and it's ARPA money's what it is. And we've been submitting different projects throughout so far to try, with the funding, I mean, the funding's there. I submit the projects to the state. They give me a project number, then we go on from there. And the first one is a lead line service inventory project. It's $257,000 raised, pretty much taking care of everything on that. We've been reporting to the state. All of our reporting's up to date. We're good on that, and we have an additional between 6 or 7 years to actually go back in and start replacing the lead lines and complete the inventory. A lot of the inventory was unknowns, and that's allowable, but we can finally go back in and say, okay, well, we actually need to find out what these are now. But we are in compliance with this right now. The next one is the elevated storage tank. We're proposing a 750,000-gallon water storage tank. Oh, click again, darn it. Sorry. I've been, Ray, Jeremy, and myself had a meeting with representatives of Magnera, Berry, 3 weeks ago, and we went over the entire project where we would like to locate the tank on their property. And they were very accepting and willing to go ahead and let us put the tank on their property. I asked them, so we can either purchase a property off of you for fair market value, or you could, give it to us and we'll give you a tax credit for it. It's where their old softball field is right now, where it used to be, I guess. I guess they don't play softball anymore. But they saw the benefit of having this tank on their property. Our connection to the water line would be, I'm sorry?
Where's this at?
Chicopee.
Oh, oh.
Yeah, Barry Global's called Magnera now.
All right.
Yeah, okay.
Cub Road, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was best served that this tank would be on the west side of town.
Well, it's still gonna serve, it's gonna help the west side, but there was nowhere to put it.
What about where the old
I'm
one
about to
was
say,
at the
'cause you got
church?
two water towers
There
right
used to
there
be one
close
behind the
together.
Baptist church on the lot.
Oh, yeah.
And both of them being close together is something that they talked about, but running the numbers and, well, nobody else was using it. Running the numbers, and we looked at some on both sides, but for what we need and where we need the residuals to be, the spot at Berry, Chicopee, Magnera is the best option, especially when it comes to looking at any industrial or any growth that we want to see. We need to be able to push to that side of
You ain't
town.
gonna hear nothing about water pressure on the west side no more.
Because the STAG grant, phase 3 and 4, is gonna help as well. Because when we replace those water lines, that's gonna, I mean, those lines are old too.
Oh, yeah.
So,
And
see some change there as well.
the pressure issues that are generally brought up are not a town line.
It's a county line.
So there should be no decrease or negative impact with it going there as far as pressures go. And again, here I am about funding. We had a $500,000 grant from the county to do all the prep work for this tank. So currently, we have submitted $113,000 to the county. They have reimbursed us for $105,000, and we have $386,000 left on that grant. So once we get all the planning stuff done, we can still use that towards some of the construction. So we'll obviously use that money first and then move into the 16 million.
Have we gone back to the county and asked them to give us 250 more like they did all the other towns in the county? Didn't everybody
I
go back
think we
and say
did that
250?
whenever they did
They
it.
said no.
Yeah.
Size comparison to the other tank, same height?
Yes. It'll probably be just a little bit taller, but it'll be the same design.
Same amount of capacity.
No, this will be,
That's
this is
what I was
over,
asking, you know.
no, the original, the town tank right now is 300,000. This will be 750. And there is a water line running down Cobb Road right now that we can tie right into, which will make it even more beneficial for us. You figure, I didn't put another number on this one, but you know, it's going to be about $6 million to do this job. I started working on requests for qualifications for engineering firms, but I wanted to wait until I had the word from Magnera that they were going to let us put the tank on their property before I released it. Yep. Click. The next one is we submitted to the state to replace some sewer lines on Lincoln Street, on the southern part of Lincoln Street, and West Martin Street. This was brought to my attention by Ray. He said him and Jeremy both said they needed to be replaced. At one point, well, you might as well say 1.2 million to do this work. That's what we're estimating. And going with the upgrading the sewer lines that you mentioned earlier, we are going to we're going to abandon an existing 24-inch sewer line underneath I-40 leading to the plant and upgrade it to a 36-inch line. It will involve installing two new manholes on the west side of I-40, two new on the east side of I-40, and we'll do a bore and jack construction of 48-inch casing and install a new 36-inch line. It was uncertain what the condition of the 24-inch line is at this point, and it's hard to tell since it's constantly in use. So they decided the upgrade will be beneficial, I should say, for us. And we'll just abandon the existing 24 and scope it out later and just leave it in place.
Okay. Got a lot of figures.
Okay.
This 2.4 2.28 million
Yes.
for this, 16 million project. That is, this money is coming from,
The state.
The
This was
state.
this state. The 16 million was, this past state appropriation. So Jay has to, so this dang thing.
All the ones underneath 16 million projects is coming from the state appropriation we got.
So we got approved in the budget for 16 million, and then we have to send in a budget for each project that we're gonna do in that 16 million. So what? They don't like me. So what Jay has to do is we identify a problem, because we can use it for water sewer. He gets the cost estimates together, and then he sends it to EWA with the state, and then she comes back and says, this is approved, and here's the number. So that then we have a tracking number in finance of how to get the reimbursements for it. So all this is included in the 16 million. So he's kind of breaking it down for you slide by slide on what we're using it for. And he's going to tell you this. We've got money.
Yeah.
We've got money left over still. So we're still looking where we can spend the money.
But it's
Can we
not
get an
money
audio
that's left
system?
over. We're using it for projects that have either been on hold or projects that we were trying to find funding for. Because we have this 16 million now, we're squeezing in all of these projects that, like we talked about earlier, stuff that needs to be done that maybe it's been put off because it didn't need to be done right then, or it was needed in the future. We're using the 16 million for all of those things.
Yeah, we're getting it done.
Yeah.
So.
That's great. Just don't want to get in a situation like
Yeah,
2 years ago that
right.
we just assumed that the
Well,
cloud was there
the-
and there was no money.
No, where we are now, I don't know that y'all see what an asset Jay is. He's got the construction background. He knows how to get estimates. He's constantly on the phone with people. So he's done an exceptional job. We have not spent any of the $16 million yet because Jay's done all the legwork. And so really we'll start reaping that money when the projects start. So he's done a phenomenal job. I hope y'all can see that in all this because he's truly an asset.
There's no doubt that we see
Yeah.
what he does.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. We haven't had to pay an engineer for a lot of this.
3 million here, he's not banking it.
I know, but what I'm saying is we haven't had to utilize a lot. We haven't really, we talked to the engineers, but we're not getting invoiced for some of this stuff. So,
Good.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah, Jay, we think you're doing a great job, man. We really do.
Thank you.
Yeah.
The next one is the I-40 pump station. This is relatively new, submitted within the last month. The pump station at the I-40 for the rest area we're constantly fighting the pumps. They're constantly breaking down, so we decided to go with a wet well system. We had ELJ come out and do some preliminary piping work for us to prepare for this new system we're going to be putting in. This is just a generic drawing. I wanted to put something there for you to look at. But the cost estimate for this is $141,500. That we got all the pricing for the pumps and from ELJ to do the work itself. There's no engineering involved. We're ready to know what needs to be done. So this will upgrade it, and hopefully it lasts a long time up there, and we won't have to visit that pump station again for a while.
And what all does it cover on I-40?
What the pump station covers, I couldn't tell you, because I don't know honestly, I don't know.
This is anything from the opposite side of 40 coming in, but it also pumps down from the rest area this way. It's that pump station. And this is we were kind of plugging along and fixing the pumps and doing all that. But again, like I just said, with the 16 million, we threw it in. We're going to need that station going forward, especially with some proposed projects that landowners up there are looking at. So we went ahead and added this in to make sure we can provide service for any of that comes in based on the plans they've provided us thus far.
But the rest area, we don't get anything from that except, do we, sewer rate? I mean, we're doing this, and this handles the.
Not just the rest area, but it's that area of town. It's the rest areas, it's the, is it the concrete across
Yeah.
40? The John Deere area. Right. Dale Parker has some land up there. He's looking at putting some things in. So fixing that will ensure that we can get anything that goes in up and running.
Oh, we're talking about that 40 area. They're doing a lot of surveying out there. Is that the DOT for their widening that's on the DOT list? Is that what they're surveying for right now?
Yeah. From 40 to
Tar Heel?
Tar Heel.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
42.
Mm-hmm. So 4 lanes.
Okay, and I think it's the last one. As a community development block grant, we did a bunch of slip lining work on a lot of the sewer lines in town. This is not one of our lines here. The contract total was $1.5 million. Everything, we did some manhole rehab work as well, and everything turned out pretty well on the project. I haven't heard anything, any complaints from anybody. We do have a little bit of excess fundage on this project. We weren't able to do a couple things on the scope itself, a couple of conditions we ran into, so we are trying to identify a few other things that we can do with the excess money that we're going to get. I'm waiting for Withers Ravenel to tell me the amount of that before we can say, okay, well, we can come over here and work on this on Harnett Street, where it leads into Wall Street or something of that nature. But other than that, the contract itself is complete. That was done by Jimco. And that's, right now, I went and looked this up, we got $5.9 million accounted for left of the $16 million.
And we can't use it for paving, I've already asked.
But it's
No, we
water
can't
and
use it
sewer.
for paving.
You can use it for water and stormwater.
That's what you were thinking about
Water-
banking.
I can use for water, sewer, and stormwater.
So we can't, okay.
So we can look at it for sure.
And there's how much left?
5.9 million.
Where are we, I may be just late, it's been a long day. Or where are we at on the pump station in Johnson Place? Or is that still going away?
The
Is it-
abandonment of Lake Shore,
Yeah, that's all, yeah.
we're
waiting on an easement.
yeah.
Yeah.
We're
that's
still
what
looking for an
But if
easement
we
there.
could get an easement, this money could go toward that as well, right?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
That is the last piece of that puzzle.
If we can get an easement attorney, if we can get an easement.
And the only thing, the only thing that's, the only thing that's left is over Hill.
Hmm?
The only thing that's left is over Hill Street.
For the abandonment,
No, for the easement.
where's it at? Yes, you do. Yes.
Ain't that in that,
Is that the only thing that's left?
Yes. I think so, yeah.
The one, the Dog Eye Road?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
We need a map, though, so he can do that.
Okey-doke.
We've had initial conversations, but it's been
Thank you, Jay.
questionable.
This is very helpful today, thank you.
Very.
I thought so too.
Okay, next department reports. Are we gonna go through any of them?
If
That's a
you,
good one to break the news.
So- we have, I think, pretty much.
Thank you, Jay.
Everybody's here, so if you have any questions about department reports, they are here. Code enforcement, parks, everybody's here, so.
Let's just walk down it. Anybody have any questions about code enforcement?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, okay.
You sent an email not too long ago, and I don't know that you got all responses. I just want to see, are we moving forward with code enforcement as intended?
For the most part, I mean, I've had some conversations with people as well, and I can tell you we're moving forward. Everybody is the same in my book, and I actually had a very interesting conversation today about that said property that we talked about. So, but yeah, we're moving forward. That is the intent. I mean, if code enforcement is still in y'all's front mirror, then it is in mine too, and we're doing it.
Great job, by the way. Keep it up.
Whatever question you ask, I know he's got the answer.
He's
for
got
you.
it.
Okay.
y'all were
all right.
talking about the email where I told you to.
Great
Yes.
speech.
Okay.
Yeah, and this report was good too, because I like how he shows us,
Pictures.
well, yeah, the pictures, so.
I just want to say that next month, My report's going to include your wall-to-wall report we had done 2 years ago. You had like 87 or 89 properties on there. I wanted to update that, but it'll take me some time because some of those properties don't even exist anymore. There's new structures that are on there. And then, of course, you're going to see some familiar addresses and property owners' names who are still on there and who are still labeled in my book as chronic violators. Hopefully, sooner or later, we can come to some type of resolution on how we're going to take care of them to kind of get them to comply.
Thank you.
Thanks. Next, Parks and Rec.
Any questions? For
Any
Parks?
questions?
Not until we get to the next item.
Okay.
Electric.
He's actually not here, but does anybody have any questions? Because me and Caleb
Parks and
probably
Rec.
Electric.
answer. Matt's here.
Or we can go to wait.
Did
We're
you
going to wait on pickleball courses.
wait on the pickleball?
Pickleball questions during pickleball time.
What was the last one you read out?
Electric.
Electric.
Matt, you want to come talk about electric?
Sure.
Cultural arts. Yeah.
I just sound glad to see you're fully staffed again.
Yes, it feels good.
So, that's good.
Town manager. November, December, January.
Yeah, I know. I'm so sorry. I didn't realize I was so far behind.
Police. Human resources.
I don't have any questions about human resources, but congratulations, Scott, on getting that certification.
Yeah.
Good
But I need some pointers.
That's a big one. Yeah.
I know.
Fire department. Could you come and give that slideshow one more time?
Oh, no.
She said,
Very, very detailed, to the point. Nothing elaborate.
Okay, items for discussion. Purchase orders over 30,000.
So that brings us back to electric. Okay. Oh, yes, no. This is for transformers for Benson Village, simply because of the cost. It's coming before the board. But again, this is the same song and dance we've kind of done. It's per Benson Village. We have to get them ordered because there's a long turnaround time. Are there any questions?
So that's the southeastern transformer is the
yes.
Yeah, it's transformers for the next phase
okay.
that they need to get ordered.
I make a
And-
motion we approve.
Do you want a motion? Or
You
do
want to
want
approve?
consent?
I thought you
Well,
We
had-
can put it for consent, or if you guys want to go ahead and do it, we could get them ordered. Totally fine. Your call.
Okay, I'm gonna pull it, Jerry. Does anybody have a motion?
I made
Uh,
the
William
motion-
did
I
it.
made the
Yeah,
motion
but
to
you-
approve.
You didn't call it, but he's
I
got
just-
one.
William has
Stop.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor that we approve. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And last, pickleball courts.
Yep, so last thing on, I guess your slides tonight is the bid for the pickleball courts to come in. The one that we got that was the most attractive was $244,000. Dr. Viss has already given us the money. We have it in hand, $250,000. So I just ask for your approval to accept this bid.
I make a motion. I make a motion that we approve it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's approved.
Thank you. They'll start work, we get it in March, and he said, depending on weather, 6 to 8 weeks. They'll be
Cool, great, great.
Thank you.
Okay, any other business?
I do. So we have some dates that I need you guys to pull out your calendar for in regards to the board retreat. I have 3. March 15th, March 22nd, or April 12th.
April sounds good.
March 22nd, no go for me.
Okay.
What was the date in April?
April what?
April 12th.
Passover.
Easter's the 19th, so we took that weekend out.
Can do the 12th.
These are the dates that the facilitator.
Can do it. Has available, yeah.
What'd you say the other date in March was?
15th.
I can do the 15th. 15th, March 15th, or the April 12th.
I
Okay.
15th or the 22nd.
Okay, so 15th, you're not there. What about the 12th? We got 6 yeses on the 12th of April
I can do any of them.
I can do any of them, except for that first one we did.
that we took off. Yep. You're good?
March 15th or April 12th.
Yep.
That's,
Easter is the weekend of the 19th. It's the 20th.
Oh, it's the end of the month.
yeah, Easter's 20th.
Mhm.
On Sunday on
So are you good the 12th?
I think so.
Mr. Danny Mack, are you good on the 12th?
I think so.
Everybody?
Yeah, we're
I'm
good.
out on the 12th.
You're out on the 12th.
That's all right, then.
Okay.
That's spring break. We're gone.
Okay. All right. So the 12th. You can zoom in. April 12th.
April 12th.
Except you. You're out.
Unless, I mean, was there everybody that could do the 15th?
I can do.
I can do 15th.
Can you do the
15th's fine. That's,
Of March.
Uh-huh.
I can do the 15th.
Can you,
15th's on a Saturday. There's nothing going on there.
are you good the
I
15th?
think so. I'm pulling up.
There's
Black.
not
Oh,
much
okay.
I think
going
so.
on there.
I think I can.
So which is it?
Hold on, waiting on Miss Cassandra.
Oh,
Don't let me be hold up.
Well, it's either,
I mean, y'all can do it on 22nd.
you need to be there. Trying to get everybody there.
Are y'all good with the 15th?
I'm good with 15.
The 15th.
All right, so we'll do March 15th, Angie. And I just want to say, I think that tonight was very productive. I appreciate y'all. We did not have a planning board meeting in February, so Thursday is going to be a very quick meeting. I'm hoping that I will have you all updated financials. I'm in the process of working through those now. There's also only one thing on the agenda for the planning board in March, and it doesn't have to go to the board. So the second meeting in March is going to be a very quick meeting as well. Just want to let everybody know. And that, I believe, is all I have.
Yeah, and just to remind everybody, y'all, group pictures on.
Oh, yeah.
At
6.
You're at 8.
And if you want to do individual pictures, they'll do that too, right? Is he doing individuals too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody that wants to be in here, Mr. Daymack, you know you got it. We've got to have one for you.
Am I missing anything else?
No, the only thing that's gonna be on the here so far, what's gonna be on the February 20th, so we won't have the 2 items. I mean, they just approved the
Mhm.
corners and the pickleball court. That's pretty much just gonna be.
Financials and
a
public comment. And public comment. Mhm.
Should be a short.
We'll set the record that we set the other night. We'll break that record.
Oh, I don't know if it'll be that short. If I have financials,
It'll
it
be
may not be that
23
short.
minutes. All right. I'll see.
Okay.
Ike. Anything? Anything?
Just remember, we got Black History Month, and the, yeah.
The celebration will be Sunday, February 23rd, 3 p.m. And it'll be at the Mardi Gras Slab. And this year we are doing something different. Kind of alluded to it at the last meeting. We are honoring the past and the present Black business owners within the town of Benson. So as of now, we have 10 past business owners and 4 present business owners that will be honored this year. So there's a lot of moving parts to it, but it's looking like it's going to be a really good celebration. So I hope y'all can come join.
What
You got
time?
10 business? 10.
14 total.
Past,
Wow,
present.
Past and, yeah, 4
10
is
past, 4
present, 10 have.
All of these were in Benson?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
You said 3 o'clock.
3 o'clock on the 23rd.
And Greg, you said 2 o'clock for tomorrow? Yes, sir. And that's at the Housing Authority?
And that was a broad slab.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay,
Black
all right,
History
good. All
Celebration.
right.
Where's the retreat we doing?
It'll be in the fire department. If,
So we're just doing Saturday?
yes. No, we
Okay.
cannot.
If nothing else, anybody have that most favorite of my motions?
I make
I
a
make a
motion.
motion, we adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We adjourn.